Hello. Hello and welcome to today's episode of talking to myself from the other side of the screen because you're another side of me that's over there. Today we're talking to, oh God, what do you call yourself now? It's Loren Cellentani, right?
Yes.
Loren Cellentani. There we go. She is my sister from another mister, from another far, far away land that I haven't even been in contact with since forever. So this is how things go. It's been a long, long time, and it's gonna be for me, the way I see it, it's gonna be a catch up, of sorts of what's been going on in your life. I am so curious because, of course, I see little bits here and there on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever. And all I see is growth and expansion and connection and love and mind blowing, whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
what part you want to share, whether you want to share who you are and what you do, or you want to share how you got to the place where you are, or you want to share what you had for breakfast today. I don't know. I don't know.
First of all,
Whatever
I
you
love
feel.
this is such a Gigs Phoenix podcast.
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
love it.
yes,
So thank you for being you. Because, right, it's like we all speaking to you, me from the other side of the screen, right? But we're the
yeah.
individual. And what I've heard this quote a long time ago, but it's been sticking with me lately. Ram Dass's "We're all just God and drag"
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
quote.
yes,
And
yes.
because it makes me giggle. And of course, when I think giggle, well, hello, we're talking to the one and only here.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I love that intention of, yeah, we're all just God and drag.
Yeah,
And to
which
to
is,
to share and speak authentically from a little bit different or maybe a lot bit different perspectives, this of the truth of God.
yeah,
Because that's why we're freaking here, right? You know
yes.
that, and that's why you're whoever anybody else other than mom listening to, that's what I'm always like. I'm like, is anybody else listening to this other than my mom? Which my mom doesn't even listen to my stuff anymore.
Oh, wow. It's so funny, see, because to me, it's like, uh, when you have that little voice in your head that tells you do this,
Yeah.
but without any, I feel like this is the one thing that I am doing without any look on the outcome or
Hmm.
desired outcome or
Yeah.
whatever. I am just doing it for the fun of it,
Yeah.
which is great. So, excuse my interruption. Continue with your introduction.
No, that's part of the conversation. I love it. I think that's when we can approach our lives in creation
Hmm.
in that way, that's when magic unfolds because we don't have these very tight, narrow expectations of the how and the when and the ba ba beep ba boop ba boop. Like, if this happens, then I'll be
Yeah,
successful, then I'll be blah blah.
yes.
But when you just approach it like this is sounds like fun and I want to do like first of all, it's fun. Who wouldn't want to do something that they love doing? And you guys could probably tell I love talking. I know Gigs loves talking, so this is gonna be fun, everybody. And I've been watching a lot of Bashar lately. Have you listened to any Bashar?
Me
Okay.
too. He's like
So
everywhere,
yeah,
everywhere.
I know. So follow your highest excitement.
Yes,
Let's dive into that because
yes.
that's kind of been my mantra of like, okay, when we follow our highest excitement, I'm just thinking things throughout the day to get done,
Hmm.
which is basically like putting our own vibration first instead of going, oh, this is what I should be doing and I'm so behind, like all that BS that we like want to like guilt our way into changing and doing things that never actually works. Instead, why not follow your highest excitement?
Mm.
So for me, like I guess day to day, but like at a bigger scale, I totally relate to what you're saying because with just like I'm just creating this with no
Mm.
expectation. I just launched a membership. I've been thinking about it for a little while on the back burner, and then I was like, F it. Let's just because I'm excited, right? And
Yes,
it's like the birth is here. Now I got to like push it out and
yeah.
like raise this child, but it's ready because it felt exciting and it still feels exciting. And that's when I started my podcast That's what I was doing. I knew I needed to be doing it. Like it was healing, it was exciting and it was healing
Mm,
for me in
mm-hmm,
that process. And
mm-hmm,
so I guess tie it back to like what I'm really passionate about is like that's what where I love to help guide other people on their own spiritual and then entrepreneurial journeys now because I found when we go through this growth, it's like we learn something about ourselves. We've like uncovered these new beautiful gifts and like we're so passionate about it. And you see the you see like different types of people like either like maybe go back to like getting another diagnosis or their world keeps getting upside down. Or you see these people like that one thing that sparked them on this journey. Now they're like multimillionaires and they're doing that. And they're like, and you're like, how is this like, is this possible?
mm-hmm,
You know? So
mm-hmm,
that's my mission is to really help the people who've been on this journey and are ready to share that, ready to birth that excitement. Like you
mm-hmm.
beautifully did here. It's like, let's just, I'm going to turn on this microphone. Let's go. Let's shoot out some invites. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, invites or talking to myself is like whatever comes, and it's interesting because I had a little bit of voice of, okay, I've got this person that I want to reach out to, this, and then what, and then the limitation come through of, well, I can't reach out to, I don't know, somebody that's more known or whatever, because who am I? And I'm like, okay, no, here we go. There's the first upper limit that I put onto myself that I know I am birthing out of. It's so funny that you mentioned the people that keep going, oh, there's another diagnosis or there's another something upside down world going on, or the other ones. It's so I feel like I'm at that end of everything is upside down at the moment again. So besides the birthing of this, there's that part too. I think the only difference right now is there's another light onto it. I have a bit more of the observer part in what is going on and what is happening and why it's happening and all the steps that are being taken and all the fears that are coming up to the surface. But enough about me. I
No, this
want,
is a
I
conversation. I
want to
love it.
know.
I
I
love
want
it.
to know. But you said the membership. See, so now I'm curious because I know you have a course as well that you're guiding women through. So it's specifically made for women, which is so badass. What about this membership though? What do you do? What do you do
This
it?
is, of course, this is exactly what it does, is what you're just talking about. It's
Oh.
like, you know, and this was literally, I was in the shower last night getting ready for bed, and like that, this exact topic was like on my heart. It was coming
Wow.
through, and I got out of the shower. I'm like, I normally not, I try not to be on my phone at night, but I'm like on my phone, like typing, I'm like, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, 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 I'm channeling, yeah, just that fire coming through. Becoming an entrepreneur for me has mean I've had to come up against things I have not wanted to see about
Mm,
myself.
mm,
The victim, um, mostly I would say the victim anger, all those things that like otherwise you don't really have to look at,
mm,
and being an
mhm,
entrepreneur and those two types of people that we were talking about earlier, it forces you to get uncomfortable.
mhm,
It forces you to the growth every single day because you realize, whoa, 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 the only thing I can control is myself
mm,
and my own emotions and those own thoughts. And there's so much power in that. And I see the two differences. Like, listen, like, does sometimes my world feel like it's flips upside down? Of course, all the freaking time. But it's how we view it, right? Is
mhm.
that going to be our catapult to shooting us towards more expansion? Do we trust that everything is happening for us? Do we trust that is the path of least resistance, even though we can't see it right now?
Mm,
So the choice is really the state of mind. Are we perpetually in that student, I will say victim's point of view, or
mm,
that mastery?
mhm,
And what I call is like a visionary CEO. It's like when we talk about all the spiritual people are like the new earth, 5D, heart centered, all this kind of stuff. Well, for me, I see myself going on the journey of like, oh my God, I got to do more. I got to work harder. I got to stress myself out and prove that I'm worth doing business.
mm,
And it's like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a loving look at that. Where is
Mm-hmm.
that coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip coin of that, it's I want to live my life. I love what I do. I love speaking what I do. I love sharing. I love listening to other people on these paths. But I want to have fun. Like I want to like make cookies in the middle of the day. I want to go on a random girls trip. I want to, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to be stressing this myself. I don't want to be stuck in perpetual fight and flight all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where this membership idea came from, is really becoming the master of your own self. And that's what like this movement is like I'm calling all the leaders, all the healers, all the visionaries, all of the woo woo people out there who either have a business or want to start the business to really join this hand in hand. And what this membership is a growing library of just somatic practices.
Oh, wow.
Soma is means body. And
Yeah.
for me, being present and learning to actually feel my emotions, novel idea, I know, has been so powerful because like some emotions we have a judgment scale of good or bad, you know, I could and we so saturate them into the story of what's going on versus this is an emotion that's coming up right now. It's my responsibility to be able to feel it and like flip that switch and transmute it. That is mastery.
Mm.
And day to day, as an entrepreneur, that's why I'm so specific on this. As a spiritual person who's gone on a healing journey, who wants to start a business, who wants to share their heart with the world, you got to take that to a whole nother level. That's going to require you like to really, really practice, really
Sure.
care how you feel and who you're being. Because it's like not just about the business side of things. It's about who you are as a leader in your whole life. And I really, really feel so strongly we've all come here at this time
Mm.
and we're going through exactly what we need to go through right now to be that because that
Mm-hmm.
expansion's already here. That leader version of you is already here. We just have to just use that emotional guidance system, and that's within every moment to realign with her. So that's really the membership is just like a library of specific. I have 4 different categories for like the physical body, energetic body, creation codes. It's like every day to day things. Like you have to go write a social media post or an email or you're doing a talk. Like, how do you connect with yourself to really be that channel? Like the day to day creation of work. And then the success codes as well is like, what is a leader like? Like the confidence, the clarity, what are those success codes? What are the wealth codes? What does it feel like to be in a perpetual state of abundance, regardless of how big your bank account is? Like, what does that actually mean? Who are you actually being in that state?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the crux is like, okay, what does it mean to be the leader of our lives? And here's a huge library and a community of people who are on that journey of embodiment. So the membership is called Lead Body because it's always your body is always leading the way.
Yes.
And that has been my body's wisdom for me over the past a long time,
Years. Yes.
probably 8+ years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You
that's
know, because
that's all.
you start all, folks. I know you started off with, was it fitness and well-being on that side and nutrition
Yeah.
more? So I remember you started on that journey way, way back when, and it's always been your thing with your body leads the way. Your body's leading the way. Your body's telling you what not. You said something in there about I am in control of how I feel, in these moments, and can I be present with this? And of course, you're the second person I hear saying this today, and it's the recurring theme everywhere around me of everything that's coming up to the surface. Can I just sit in it, as uncomfortable as it is, and watch it, see it, love it? As much as there's another part that wants to run away or try to fix it and sort it out and find a solution for this problem that's right here in front of me, can I just sit in this discomfort? And yeah, I can totally see why, especially when you start a new thing, why there's an extra layer, an extra depth to, I'm gonna say it, to the shit that needs digging up. Because there's what I've found even in my life, there's this why can't I speak? There's that part. There's this part that has nothing to do with what I was gonna say. I just don't know what words to use. Anyway, so I'm thinking there's layers of depth of what we work through, because this is what's happening in my life, what I've noticed more recently. And we all have this thing, especially going on a woo-woo journey of spirituality and waking up. There's a layer, and then you think that you've worked through it, and then there's a deeper layer, and then you think that you work with that one, and then there's a deeper layer. So the more you work with one, the more you feel like you've done with it. Whenever you're ready to elevate, to ascend a bit more, there's more digging to be done. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but in my brain it does. Because I know it's pushing, it's expansion, it's growth that's producing those emotions, those feelings, those whatever. And the letting go of them that's producing more consciousness, allowing more consciousness through, allowing more light through.
Mhm.
That.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I understand what you're saying. And I think for me, the focus is on, whoa, these contrasting emotions are coming up because I've already grown, I've already expanded.
Mm,
And as best as I can to my ability, is like, can I separate myself from the story in which these emotions came up from? Right? Because sometimes we just want to really get chew
dig.
on that
Mm-hmm.
story, that's coming up and validate. Blah.
Mm-hmm.
But the expansion's already here. So that's why those emotions are coming up, is because you have been doing the work, you have been growing. And, Abraham Hicks, they talk a lot about the emotional guidance system. That's all it is. Guidance system. So if we just think of it as a GPS or a compass, so if we're feeling anger, despair, hopelessness, well, it's because we're pointed the wrong way. Our inner being, that expanded version of who we already are, is here. So those emotions that are coming up, I know this feels like an oversimplification at times, but it's just showing us, hey, like this is where you really are, and we're looking at this situation and everything a little bit differently than where you are right now. Just start to find that next feeling of relief. Start to work yourself up the emotional guidance system. And I think that's really the name of the game. And I think for me, it's really realizing that our natural state of being is well-being, is
Mm.
happiness, is this content. And I think what you were describing earlier is like, through everything coming up, it's really like a working on focusing. So in those moments, like, can I focus on, well, nothing really,
Mm-hmm.
the sound of the fan, the water fountain, the air conditioning, and just let that energy kind of come up and reveal who I really, really am. And that's why I think I always say, detach as much as we can, detach from the story and be present with the specific emotion, because that's the word emotion is like the etymology, energy, and motion. So the more present we can be with that actual emotion, the more it can actually move. And on top of that, I feel like my perspective's changed. It's not about as much letting go, it's about transmuting and alchemizing it,
Mm.
because no energy can be created or destroyed. So what if that anger, what if that anxiousness, what if that imposter syndrome was actually your superpower? What if that was your body being like, hey, you need to take time to feel what's coming up. We have a message for you. This is like your body's, I've never said this before, so this is good. This is your body sending you a text message. Please read, urgent, please read, please open. Because always, 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 underline exclamation point, there's always wisdom underneath what's coming up.
Yeah.
That's why I say your body's not in the way, it's leading the way. Is whether it's a physical sensation or physical diagnosis, an emotion, whatever it is, underneath that, your body's trying to tell you something. It's usually a need that's not being met, or there's something that you're not looking at or not
Mm.
feeling. So it's just trying to help you and guide you on that path of least resistance to who you already are. Because I think when we're trying to transform or change or heal or start a business, it's like, well, I'm over here and what I want is over there. But in reality, it's here. So it's just getting really clear on that's who you already are.
Mm.
And how can we practice that? And there's, of course, life emotions over here are going to come up because contrast is going to bring clarity. Contrast is supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen because that allows you to, it's part of the path of least resistance to get that physical manifested expansion here. So as you
Mhm.
can tell, I'm very passionate about feeling the feelings, everybody, because
I mean,
it's that simple. It
yeah.
really is.
I mean, I love it because see, this is if this is where your magic is, this is what you put out, right? It's who you are after all. This is what you do on a day-to-day basis. It's not like you're talking out of your behind now. You know, you're the embodiment of what you speak you really are, which I love. You know, you're not trying to be something else or trying to portray something that you're not, which it's so interesting because there's this thing that a lot of people do that go through, let's say, manifesting things or becoming the other version of themselves that they want to become. That fake it till you make it part. You know, there's that thing that I don't know, somehow in my experiences so far, I cannot resonate with it for dear life. It's like, how can somebody, it's a bit of a lie, I gather, you know, and it's like telling a lie to yourself more than anything else. You know, it's and I understand a lot of people make that work somehow, but it feels the same. It feels like it's just a little bit of surface level. It just feels like you're somewhat not allowing the flow of life, you know, to guide you where it needs to go. Because we think we're so much in control of our lives, of wherever we go, of whatever we want to achieve. And then life is the other way around, or it goes wherever it needs to go. It's only us on the boat, right, that put resistance or go with the flow of it, like Abraham would say, you know, let the cork bob up to the surface. And then it just breathes. We're just holding it down with our own little resistances and whatnot. So the course, you said you got your membership, but you also have the
Yes.
course. What is it?
So this, go ahead. Sorry.
What is it that you do in your course? What exactly do you
So
guide women through?
it's called the Sovereign Mastermind.
Okay. Oh,
Excuse
here
me.
we go.
I
Just
know
one
that
more.
throat chakra's opening up. It watch out. You didn't think I talked before. No, I'm kidding. And it's a really in-depth combination of like an online program and group coaching where
Mm-hmm,
we go into, okay, the membership is a here's daily practices to really master the emotions day to day.
mm-hmm,
The mastermind is like, okay, I have a business. I want to start this business. Well, how do I do the inner work? How do I create what I want to create in this world? There's the group coaching, there's higher accountability to really be seen as you create this process. So women who are join that program, one of my clients, she came, she's like, I don't know, I know I'm holding myself back. I want to hit consistent 10K months, which so many people do. And I realize I'm stuck in perpetual fight or flight.
mm,
So it's taking that onus at a deeper level and knowing that like you are already the master. You know what you're here to do. And now it's really about doing that inner work to be that at a deeper level. And we also do a lot of monthly training specifically on like getting clear on your ideas, on your message, on that mission, not as much like this is the detailed business strategy you need to do because 9 times out of 10, you don't need to know more of that. Okay. It's about doing the inner deep work.
mm-hmm,
One of the courses I just recently did for the membership was literally clarity. So we
mm,
went through your mission and your message and how that relates to more money and more impact. So really getting clear on like, what do you stand for? Because it's not just a business. It's not but just about the money. You know, a lot of people I work with, yeah, that's great. Yes, you want to make more money, but it's something bigger than that. What do you stand for? What is the movement that you are leading? And for me, it's really like healers to get out of freaking survival.
Mm.
The era of wounded healers done. Okay, people, we're at this point in reality where we can share this message, share our hearts, do the inner work, and be in that embodied sovereign self. We're not going to get most of the places in the world, we're not going to get burned at the stake. Okay. So maybe we have before, but not this lifetime. So what do you stand for? And then the message is like, this is a huge shift that I've seen in my business and myself, that I've seen immediate results. It's blown
Mm.
me out of the water. Getting clear on who you're actually helping and what specific transformation. Doesn't mean people are going to be called in that are a little bit different, but the more specific you can get, especially as like a healer, spiritual, more woo woo, because what you do helps everybody. So when you can get clear on actually what you do and how you do it, that message is like you're tuning your frequency to like 101.1. That's where all those like soul clients are. But if you don't get clear and you're all over the place, and sometimes you're at 88.7, sometimes you're at like 100 and whatever. So they're like, huh? What? Huh? So you just own that focus and that clarity to be able to, at a vibrational level, but speak it,
Mm.
articulate it, get
Mhm.
comfortable. The confidence comes from that clarity. Yeah, go right ahead.
I was when you're saying about the business part and getting clarity and everything, and you mentioned getting like behind the business idea and the business image that we're all trying to put out there is the other inner work, right? So what would you say, what do you tell your people? Like what are the things that you're actually getting them to dig into or to look at or to bring up to the surface or to transmute or to alchemize? What are those things? What are you asking them to point the flashlight on?
Yeah. Oh, first thing came up is like, aversion to share your message.
Mm.
Like the daily things like, well, I know I have to grow my social media or email list. And it becomes such a like
Drag.
feeling. I'm like, okay, well, what's coming up? Why? Like, what pattern is that? And as you know, it's always like a deeper program. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen that one before.
Mm.
To be able to bring it to light, and we do a lot of breath work, we do a lot of the somatic work too, because you have the answer inside of you. I don't.
Mm.
All of this is just to help you learn the skills to be able to listen and work with your own body and with your own energy. So it's a lot of the practical stuff. Why am I anxious to do this? Why am I avoiding sharing this message? Why don't I have more clients? What's coming up? Imposter syndrome, self-worth, maybe not being afraid to get clarity. A lot of the things that happen in day-to-day life that are going to, of course, translate into sharing yourself with the world, sharing your ideas with the world. But it's like, where's your goal? What's that manifestation dream? And like, where are you now? And how like what's coming up between those steps? What are those emotions? And also getting really, really clear on like that identity piece. And this is perfect because I wanted to circle back to what you're saying, the fake it till you make it part.
Mm.
I think there's like difference. It's like, yes, you're going to do the inner work and feel what's coming up because it's clarifying and guiding you to get really clear on who you are. That identity piece, which
Mm.
I think is separate than fake it till you make it, because fake it till
Mm-hmm.
you make it is like
Brushing it off.
spiritual bypassing to me,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know? But when we can get clear on who we want to be, which is who we really already are, the confident, the clear, the sexy, the powerful version of me, and I can practice that. I can practice that day to day. I can practice that right here. And then the more that we can build that momentum of practicing that in any situation, which got this from Gio, my partner. I'd avoided for a very long time. Then we can catch ourselves, like we can feel it when like, oh, I'm not reacting from this identity. I'm reacting from how I used to always act.
Mm.
Okay, interesting. And then you can get really clear. For me, even getting a specific name on that for me is the millionaire self or the millionaire mom. Look at this. Hello.
Oh, normally I do them. I love that. Welcome,
You know, it's
welcome.
funny. I thought I turned that off too, and it
Can you
was
turn it
doing it.
off? I
Yeah.
didn't know you can. That's so
Anyway, so yeah, that even just being really so clear and you have a specific, I'm going to say point of focus. It's a name
funny.
for me. It's like, okay, how does that feel? How would she react? How would I react in that energy? And for me, as a millionaire mom self, how would I react if my kids were with me right now?
Mm,
And the word millionaire for me is this point of abundance where I don't need to worry. I'm not thinking about money. The money's working for me. So when I'm in that perpetual state, who would I be right now? How would I be having this conversation with you, connecting with you? How would I
so
react for somebody cutting me off in traffic?
I'm cutting you off right now.
Yeah.
I'm cutting you off right now because I really want to ask now because you're
Yeah.
saying so much gold in there about being in that mindset, right? And just staying in that mindset. How do you do that? For anybody listening, watching this, how do you keep that energy up, alive, whenever something comes up, right? When you've got like you said, let's say confidence, and you feel like you're more the imposter, you've got imposter syndrome more, or you've got insecurities or whatever. What do you do? How would you work with somebody that's in that situation and walk them through whatever magic you're doing to
Hmm.
direct them? How do you
Well, I
do
would say at like a deeper level, right? Make sure we're instilling practices consistently
that?
that we know are going to build that focus and build the positive momentum. Meditation and breath work, 100%,
Right,
100% to be
right.
able to learn how to focus. And it doesn't take long. You know, Abraham says all the time, 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So learn how that feels like, to learn to realize, yeah, it is easy. It is easy to feel that well-being right here, right now. In terms of working through specific imposter syndrome to that confident self, for me, whether it's meditation, what I really, really love doing is somatic practices, is like working through my body. Like, where does that, I'll literally guide you kind of short, like, this is what I do and what the practices are in lead body. Is like, where is that imposter syndrome live in your body? Like, and
Mm.
don't go through your mind, just whatever comes up, trust it. Where is that in your body? Where is it locate? Yeah, really allowing yourself, okay, be present with that feeling. How does it feel? And starting to bring that awareness so it starts to grow through your whole body. Each breath, you expand that feeling and start to move your body as if that imposter syndrome is moving your entire, like, it's really
Mm.
dramatic. It's really over exaggerated. Like, would you like be like the, like
Mm.
in a, and like curled in the wall? Like, how does it feel to like live your life from that energy? And then you can start to have a conversation with that imposter energy. Like, probably at that point, you start to hear some thoughts come up already.
Mm.
Like, what is this? What are the sayings? What are the sensations? And then you can start to have a conversation with this energy. No longer are you ashamed or whatever, brushing it aside. You're really being present with it. It's very similar to like an inner child type of conversation. It's like, what do you need right now? Why are you here? Like, what's happening? What's made you be here? And 9 times out of 10, it's always something like very basic, very, core needs. Like, I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want to be supported, like, very much attuned to inner child. And then you shift into feeling what confidence would feel like in your body. It's this very brief overview, but
Mm-hmm.
where would confidence live in your body? Is it in the same place? Is it in your left toe, or like, where is it? Might be the same, might be different. and really getting clear on that energy. Like, how does it feel? What are the sensations? And using your breath to grow that energy so it becomes all of you. And this is totally play.
Mm,
And I think this is why I
mm,
love it so much is we get to use that imagination expressiveness in this container and we start to grow it so it becomes our whole body. How would we move? What are the sensations? And like for me, it's like this very like slow but sensual, just like confidence, like stroll. It's like you're floating across the room. And as you practice that, you start to get to a point where you can bring up that other energy of the imposter syndrome and have a conversation. So you're embodied in the confident self and you are visualizing in front of you that other part of you. And you start to talk back and forth like, what does that imposter need to hear from your confident self? What did you, what were you never able to hear before?
mm,
And then you get to a point where you're like in this beautiful, juicy love state and you can like embrace that part of you and realize that was you all along. It was just there to remind you, to guide you to this confidence that you are fully embodied in this moment. It's the same energy, but two different sides of the stick, just like Abraham always says. And that's why I love the somatic work in this way, is because it's not about pulling up the shit out of the, great, that's worked for me before, but it's like this judgment scale was revealed of like good emotion or
mhm,
bad emotion.
mhm,
If it's just emotions guiding us to who we really are, that imposter syndrome is actually that superpower guiding you to the confidence. It has that the success codes, the wisdom, the downloads, whatever you want to call it, is there in this beautiful package that is labeled imposter syndrome. When we can learn to work with this energy, we can learn to have a conversation with it, we get to reveal that. I mean, it's like, trying to talk to like your teenage self, you might like be like, I don't want to talk to you. But when you're really present, you'll start to see the emotion, that part of you that's coming up, the energy is coming up for a reason. And that's a big part of what I do somatically, like in shifting it, as well as some like physical practices that like when my kundalini is active and recirculating energy through my body, I've noticed a few different key things always happen in terms of like shaking in your body, the cat cow kind of movements, different kind of spirals up and down. So we incorporate that kind of a practice to really get yourself into the energy and then be really present with the emotion or the energies like imposter syndrome that are coming up. So we can alchemize that in the moment into more confidence
mm.
because that confidence is really there. We just have to learn to transmute it. So, in a nutshell, that's like the somatic work as well as the perspective coaching and stuff like that.
I do like I like the perspective that you put on it with the other side of the experience. Like once, okay, I've integrated, I've let the imposter syndrome show itself up. Where is in my body? How can I move it through my body? Where do I go with it? And then move to the other end of the stick, embody that, and then face them together.
Yeah.
Like that I don't know, I don't think I've seen that or heard that before, ever, anywhere. I don't know if I've ever come across this in this. Maybe I haven't, I just didn't pay attention. I don't know, but I love this. I love this perspective of just going to the other side of the stick and connecting them, talking, making them talk together.
Yeah. Very much like I said, I think a lot of it's from inner child work and how
Yeah.
powerful that is and like having the conversation with the inner
Mm.
child.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times that imposter version, that side of the stick, very much feels like an inner child, right? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
don't love me,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of energy.
So, because I just had another thought come in right through now. That's got nothing to do with the conversation, of course, because this is what happens. This is what happens on here. Are you still doing the Witchy Wellness podcast? Is that still something in your...
Yes and no. Dun,
Oh,
dun, dun. So I renamed it.
Okay.
after 6.5 years.
I think I have seen something. See, now I remember seeing
Yeah,
something. Go ahead.
it's called the Sovereign Self Show now.
Sovereign self
Self Show.
triple
Yeah,
S.
triple S, baby. So
Nice.
I had one episode out a few months ago actually with the new name. I took a break because I was like, something just just
Mm-hmm.
need some clarity and honestly focus on other areas like my business, which was been awesome and showing up in that way and showing up consistently for 6.5 years. I was a little burnout, to be honest.
Right. Yes.
And recently I was approached by a new TV network for spirituality and like metaphysics and alternative health. It's actually launching this week, the week that we're recording it, which is fun, not
Ooh,
funny, of course.
wow.
And so they were like, I know the couple who's starting it, and I've been on their podcast before, and they approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to have your podcast on here? It'd be the same thing, but just, the video version, all this stuff." So the network is called Ethereal TV, and it's literally launching this week, the kind of the beta version. So by the time, I don't know when you'll post this, gigs, but
Oh God,
it's
it'll
really
be in
exciting.
July.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a Gaia TV on
Oh
steroids, I
wow.
would say. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And so I was like, oh yeah, that got me excited to think about it in a different perspective. And then it was like, oh wait, Loren, it's time for you to speak more about what you're passionate about. Before it was like mostly interviews, which is really
Mm.
exciting, and
Mm-hmm.
getting really clear on what I want to say.
So
What
what do you want to say? This is
well, everything
okay.
we've been talking about here.
I was gonna say, is there anything else on top or alongside of whatever we spoke so far? Is there, oh my God, I mean, where do you feel like this is gonna go for you? Like, not necessarily that you have any ideas of what we cannot see. We can only have like a idea of sorts. But how do you see this growing for you? Like what are your intentions, I would say, in going into this?
I think honestly, for me, I talk about what movement do you want to lead? What's your mission? For me, it's like no matter what manifestations show up or expectations, I'm just gonna keep that's my mission. Like that's my intention is like keep showing up as the leader of my life. And
Mm,
like I am not up here on a pedestal by any means, right? I still have emotions day to day. There are still certain things in my life that, you know, really want to like those stories want to grab me.
mm,
But I do know that, and this is what I love helping people with, is like the more that you can share your magic with the world, that it's so healing. Like I love doing this. I love chatting with you. I love coaching. I love guiding people through their own energy and emotions. And you just feel so on fire. Like you're just like, yes, I know what I'm meant to do. And how do we act outside of that? Who are we being in the rest of our lives?
mm,
And that's my mission with this. And of course, my intention, honestly, the past few months has been practicing confidence in
mm.
myself
Wow.
and visualizing speaking on big stages. And sometimes like the visualization comes over and like I can hear what I'm saying and I can feel the Italian in me coming out and I'm moving and I'm sitting and
And the
like it's
hands
just
come to talk, right? Because I've noticed it's something that I do too. I talk with my hands.
yeah.
Yes, embrace it. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Continue. The vision of you on the
Yeah.
stage.
I think it's just, yeah, just for me, my intention is to keep embodying it. And for me, it's a game. For
Mm,
me, it's like, ooh, what fun things are gonna come into my world, what unexpected things are gonna come my world. And constantly almost pushing myself to be an example of what's possible. Like
yeah.
that, because I'm like, okay, this human life, what do I want to do? What's fun? Like, what's a game? How can I challenge myself to not only keep up my expansion, but like be that leader
Mm, mm-hmm.
in all that I do. So yeah, it's just fun. I think my intention is to keep having fun and sharing and hmm, being more myself, being myself, be having the audacity and authenticity to be myself, which is goofy, to be myself, which is like very sensual and like moving and dancing, and share it and like be it, like speak the truth, like be it. That's why I say
Mm-hmm.
like be the example, not just talk the talk, but walk the freaking walk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which everybody listening, I'm sure they're like, yes, yes, that's I'm about that too.
You mentioned something about when you're doing this stuff, for example, and you're talking and you're on fire, and then who am I outside of it? I had the so random thought of George Ezra. He has this program. I don't know if it's on Prime in the US, but it was in the UK for a while. That's called End to End. And he goes from one side of the UK, like the bottomest point in the UK, all the way to the top of it, and walks it, right, with two of his friends. And it's a whole spiritual journey, the whole thing, and exactly that point of when he's on stage and he performs, he knows there's this flow, there's this energy going through him, and he's this person, and then he comes off stage, and who is he then, you know and I like what you said about the game, the playing the game, because sometimes I call it game, sometimes I call it movie. More recently, more often than not, it's a movie. Like, what is my character doing right now? Where is she going? What else is gonna happen? Who is she gonna meet? What other characters are coming in? What adventures? All of this stuff, all of these parts, like, whatever else is happening next. So it sounds very exciting what your character is doing right now.
Main
Like,
character energy, baby. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, yes.
Everybody be your main character,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, we all are anyway, right? We're
Yeah.
all the main characters in our own movies, so might as well make it a fun one, Because it could be a drama, it could be comedy, it could be horror, thriller. It can be all of it as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's all of it and none of it. And the amalgamation of the ups, the downs, the transformations, the tears, the there's no point to this. Oh my God, I'm so ecstatic right now. All of that, all of that, all of the spectrum of life. I gotta ask you a personal question. Because you said millionaire mother, you know? So I don't know, I find this so awkward to always to ask somebody that I know is in a relationship. And I know they're at that time of life where they could have a baby. Are you millionaire mom on the way of becoming a mom anytime soon? Or is that like is it even in the ethers anywhere? That's that.
Well, first of all, you're saying that, and our neighbors underneath us, there's a baby going, meh, like a toddler literally pretending like they're
Wow.
crying. I would say I know that's something that's going to happen, but the how and the when, I
Mm,
trust that that will all come when it needs to.
mm-hmm. So there is no that planning and whatever that a lot of people do. It's gotta be now because now I'm ready, and now I feel like I'm stable enough, and now and
No,
whatever other story is attached to. I love that.
yeah, and I honestly, it's like that's part of like on I think I have one client that's not a mom.
Oh wow.
Everybody I work with are mom, which is crazy, isn't that?
I mean, I find that extremely empowering, you
Yeah.
know? Extra. It's the extra part. Because, of course, a lot of moms have so much besides the fact that they're women, and wanting to be entrepreneurs and wanting to live their purpose or have their impact into the world or whatever they're trying to do, as well as raising another human being or not raising, because we're not raising anybody, being alongside, supporting, the growth of
Guiding. Yeah.
this other, guiding the growth of this other being that's alongside us. That's just extra special.
Yeah. And that's part of, I think that's why that when I say millionaire mom is like, who do I want to be as that leading example for the
Mm,
kids? Like words don't teach, actions do, and your energy does.
mm,
So for me, it's like, who do I want to be? I don't want to be a workaholic. I don't want to be constantly stressed out all the time. I want to be present with everything that I do. I want to be kind, and I also want to feel my emotions, and I want my kids to realize that emotions are not something bad or scary, and that really anchors me into that expansion that's already here. Now,
Mhm.
whether I ever become a mom or not, that's the energy that really anchors me in that. And I think you can be a mom and be that kind of guiding energy regardless of if you have kids or bonus children or whatever.
Totally.
So I'm also open to that too. That's part of the specific. I keep thinking the word anchor to get
Mm.
me anchored into that energy of
Mhm.
what's possible.
Mhm.
Our parents did the best that they could with what they had, with what they knew. And now it's like, every generation thinks that they'll do
Better.
better. It's this little ego trip too. But it really anchors me into my own potential.
Yeah.
It's not just me. That's why I talk a lot about what's your mission? What do you stand for? What movement are you leading? It's the same
Mm.
thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's all about you, but it's not, right? It's all about who you're being and the huge bigger picture of what you're here to stand for.
I mean, the mom part. See, I'm checking in whether it's still a touchy subject for me or not, because it has been, especially at the beginning. Even though I've always had this feeling that I'm open about it. I'm open to talk about where I'm at with my kids and what's going on and what's been going on. I think there was a little part of me that was a bit iffy still. And most lately, I've noticed how our relationship has changed so much. And that, just holding the space that you just said about, how different that is right now. The Okay, let's say Luna has had some sort of some oh, daddy went away, right? That was basically it. Daddy went away, I want daddy back. I'm crying because I want daddy back. And I can totally see the changes that have happened for me, because my old self would have probably tried to tell her, "Oh, it's okay, he'll be back, whatever." Not this time, and it's coming so naturally now, which is so interesting, and I love that, and I appreciate that so much for me right now. The fact that I can just hold space for her and just let her cry instead of telling her, "Stop it, because he's coming back, it doesn't matter, you shouldn't be crying," whatever. I don't know, whatever other things parents tell their kids. For me, that's such a big deal, to be able to hold the space. And I do totally believe it's because I've learned to hold space for myself.
Boom.
I think that's the biggest one. Learning to do that for myself, first of all. I don't know what time it is. Oh my God. Do you think we're
It's been an
done here?
hour.
Wow. Do you think this is it? Have you
I
got
feel like
anything?
this
No, what?
I
You
feel
think?
like this is a
Like this?
good wrapping up point. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah. Is there anything
Yeah.
else that you would like to share with the world? Like any visions of aliens coming to the planet? I don't know. No, I don't know. Any other? Is there anything else in there in I was gonna say in the making, but maybe not. Anything else in your heart that you feel that you would want to share?
Honestly, thank you for reaching out. It's been fun chatting with you. Like
Oh,
I ran in to one of our neighbors here. Gigs used to be my neighbor too. And she was like, I was like, well, guess whose podcast I'm going on today? She's like, oh my gosh, that's so great. And I was like, I know, I haven't talked to her in a long time. So this has
yeah.
been so much fun to share the space. Thank you for letting me share my heart because I love to talk. And
Thank you for
so
being
fun.
here. Thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, I am so grateful that you said yes, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I think this has become my mantra lately. I don't know. And I don't think I need to know. I
But
think
I think I challenge you, you
part
do
of it.
know because you're
So,
following that excitement and you don't
yes.
need to know the details,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
yes, yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to know how and what and whatever, but I am following that. So thank you very much
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you,
for
thank you,
being
thank
on
you.
my podcast.